What's up, everyone? I'm CL Connolly, and today I was just going to talk about the simple writing and editing process that I have in order for me to get through all of these books that I have ideas for. So I have, starting in August, I have written, let me see, I did August, September, October, November, December. Okay, so I have 5 books. I have just started the newest one, which technically I'm saying it's December because November is, almost over, and I'm taking off the week of Thanksgiving, and then I'm taking off the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's. But I will be writing this book through the rest of November and all of December to give myself kind of a break from, trying to get everything done in, 20 days. So technically that means that I have written 5 new books since August, once this one is finished. So what is that? August, September, October, November, December. So that's 4 months. In 4 months, I've written 5 books. So I have this process. So this is my thing. Okay. So in my notes on my laptop, I actually have not really plotting in a sense. It's basically just this big long paragraph of what I want my book to be about. So it's oh, I want, this and this, and this is what happens in the beginning, and as it gets to the middle, and then all the way to the end, and then this is how it ends, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. That's basically what it is. So it's almost the entire premise of the book that's all written in there. And then I go through and I have this other notebook here that I actually put in where I will actually start with, the beginning. So this would be the first 5 chapters, not in here specifically, but I have, let's see. So I will actually do say a character description. Let me find one that doesn't have the actual, okay. So I'll have the character description with the name and all that other stuff. So then I go through and I do my characters in here. And then I'm trying not to let you see what the name of that book is because I don't want anybody to know yet. So I do my character descriptions so that I know the characters that are going to be in there. And this is just my plotting. And then I'll do kind of a premise of what I want the first 5 chapters to be, and then the next 5 chapters, and then the next 5 chapters, and then the next 5 chapters. So that way, okay, I've got basically what I want the next, the 20 chapters that I'm going to write. And it's only going to be 20 chapters. And I write 1 chapter a day. That's it. I don't sit there and try to focus on nothing but writing. I literally just focus on what I'm writing for that chapter. And then when I get to the end of that chapter, I get out my notebook. I've talked about this notebook in another video where what I do is I write down, okay, this is what happened in this chapter. The next chapter, I believe that this is where it can go. And then when I go to sit down, it's oh, easy. And then I start talking, and then I go straight from there because I'm great, I know exactly where I'm going. So the next chapter is written out already, pretty much, right? The whole premise and everything. All I have to do is find dialogue and actions and, this and that. So then when I write that chapter, the next day, I go through, I grab my notebook, I write down, okay, this is what happened in this chapter, and this is where I think it could go the next day, in the next chapter. And I just do that every single day. And I only write Monday through Friday. I try to take Saturday and Sunday off because my husband is home on the weekends. So that's exactly how that works out. And I make sure that I have time for my husband in the evenings when he gets home, and on the weekends, I don't have to worry about it. So that's basically, I literally write 1 chapter. And then for my editing, because I'm going to start doing the editing process on these here. I think this is, yeah, okay. So this one's Roadkill Cafe. So I'm going to be editing this one soon. And I see it's over here. I'm not sure exactly when I have it editing. Let's see. I know I have my calendar here. Let's see. That's for that one. And then I got that one that I'm writing March. Okay, so it shows March of 2024 is when I'll be editing this one. And I literally have it because there are 20 chapters in here. I will be editing 1 chapter a day. So basically, and because I'm taking like extra days off, I guess you could say. So like if my husband ends up having to work at another location for his job or something like that on a Saturday, maybe I'll grab that and be like, okay, so I'll start editing a chapter. So at least that way I've already got like the paper edits, because I always like to do like 2 types of edits. So I do like the paper edits, and then I do my computer edits, where I take the paper edits, I put it in the computer as a note, and then I go in and go, okay, so let me go ahead and fix it that way, because I've just got it highlighted and as a note. And then I go in and I, basically take those notes and go, okay, this is what I need to do. So that's how I fix that. So March of 2024 is when I'll be editing Roadkill Cafe. Hold on, my nose ring is bothering me real quick. Sorry. But so anyway, so that's how I'm going to do Roadkill Cafe. And I'm not going to start that until next year, because, sorry, my dogs are coming back here. But I don't want to start, editing that until next year, because my thing is that I've always learned that when you write a book, you set it aside, you start a new project. So when you go back to it, you know exactly how to make it better. So that's why there's going to be huge gaps in my writing, and I want to get all these books written and then go back to edit it and be like, you know what, I know exactly how to make this way better than what it already is. And it's because I let it sit, I let it fester, and then when I go back to it, it's like, oh, that's amazing. So it's easier to do that. So if I get them all stacked, if I get these books stacked up, so like, let me see, and here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have another 13 books that I want to write. Yeah, that's right. So there's another 13 books that I'm going to write while I'm publishing other books. So this is the reason why I'm only publishing the 2 cult series books next year. And then Roadkill Cafe, yeah, I'm editing it in March, but it's not going to get published until 2025, if that makes sense. So what's going to end up happening with that one, when I do the edits, it's just going to be saved on my computer as a PDF. And then whenever I have it scheduled to send it to my beta readers, then it'll go to my beta readers. And then right before I want to get it published, then I'll go over the beta reader edits and, go through and do a whole nother round of edits and everything with it. So it makes it easier on me to, set it aside, let it sit, let it fester. And then when I go back to it, because I know for a fact that if I were to read one of my other books, like especially with Friendly Misfortunes, I loved Friendly Misfortunes. It was one of my favorite books. The guy taxidermies his victims. I mean, hello. So I know that if I were to read it now, because it was published in 2014, if I were to read it now, I would know exactly how to make it better. And then I'd want to rewrite the whole thing. So I'm probably never going to read that book again, because I really don't want to do that. I don't want to sit here and go, oh my God, I know I can make this better. If I decide to do that, though, I will pull it from the shelves and then, redo it that way. But either way, so some of my other books I won't reread. Like the one that I probably would reread is Killer Suburbia, only because that one's still new. So that one's fine. Even my cult series, I can go through and I can read my cult series. But so I let it sit for a little while. I write some extras, go do this, go do this, go do this. And I make sure that they sit, they have time to just, do their own thing. And then while that's sitting there, I'll go back over it. I'll do my edits and I'll be like, oh, I know how to make this good, blah, blah, blah. But then I keep writing other books too. But I always make sure that I take one single month for each book. So I've got to write one, edit one, write one, edit one. So that's how I have the flow that's going to keep going all the way up to 2030, when basically all I'm doing is publishing one a month. But I am going to continue writing and editing in that year as well, while these books are being published. So that's how this is working out. I'm so hoping that it's going to be the best like schedule that I could have for my writing and editing. So far, I'm on track. So far, I'm staying on track. It's awesome. It's amazing. And my schedule is right on and I have no problems. But we will find out if next year, if this schedule ends up being a little too much for me, but we'll find out. So far, it's fine. It's easy. I write 1 chapter a day. Sometimes the chapter, because I have so much information in my notebook, sometimes the chapter will take me 35 minutes to sit down and write and finish, because it doesn't have to be very much. Maybe I only wrote, 435 words in that chapter. But when I go back over and do my edits, I'm going to make it longer because I need to expand on most of that. The first draft, my shit draft, is always just to get the idea out of my head. That's basically all I'm doing. I'm not trying to make it perfect on my first draft. I just want it out of here and on paper. That's all I need. That's it. So when I go through and do the next round of edits, it's going to be a lot more expansive. So I know that there's a lot of scenes and stuff where I just made descriptions, and it's like, you know what? In this scene, I could definitely use some dialogue rather than just describing. So it's that show, don't tell type deal. Technically, it's just a bunch of telling. So I go through and I fix it so that it's not. So that's how that works out. And it's easy. It's working for me. I'm not saying that this is going to work for everybody, because I know there's a lot of people that sit out there and they will write more than 1 book a day. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to write the first chapter of this book, the 5th chapter of this book, and the 10th chapter of that book. And that's all in one day. And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I have to write in order, and I've seen a lot of people that don't have to write in order. So that's great for them. I'd never be able to do it. So what I have to do is I actually have to, write 1 book at a time. I write in order. It works for me, and it has taken me a long time to be able to write a book, put it aside, start a new one. Write a book, put it aside, start a new one. It has really taken me a long time to get to that, because when I first wrote Forbidden Affair, I had to write it and edit it and edit it and edit it and edit it before I would let anyone see it. And then it got to the point, I actually have a book that I wrote right before Forbidden Affair that I did that so many times, where I just kept editing and editing and editing. And I kept thinking, this book is just, I couldn't read it anymore. I couldn't do it. I couldn't read it anymore. I hated it. I felt like I had edited it so much that it was the worst thing ever. As a matter of fact, it's in my file cabinet. Do I want to read it again? I've sort of gone through it, but it is so bad. So bad. And I don't know how to fix it at this point. Like, I did so many edits on it that I made it so bad. And it was because I did them, where I've only focused on that book. Literally, it was that bad. I just went over it so much that I couldn't stand looking at it anymore. And I didn't want to read it. It's like reading a book over and over and over again. And it was just not good anymore. So with Forbidden Affair, I only did 4 rounds of edits. And then I was like, I need someone else to look at this. And then I started Friendly Misfortunes while someone else was looking at it. Because then that way, I'm going to start this other book, blue-to-do-to-do. And then as soon as that was over, then I started looking back at Forbidden Affair again. And I was like, okay, so I had someone look over it. No big deal. And yeah. And then after I had that person look over it, I went ahead and made a few changes. And then that's when I found my editor. And she went ahead and looked over it, and she gave me a few notes and stuff like that. And I was like, cool. Okay, great. And then after that, that's when I found the publishing lightning source, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I went ahead and did it that way. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this, see what happens. My mom sold a bunch of books at her work and stuff like that. I ended up getting to be a featured author at their book club, and I was so excited. And then they decided that they were like, oh, it has to be a series, yada, yada. So that's where the rest of the Affair series came in. But because I had went ahead and finished it, then I decided, okay, well, now I'm going to go on to Friendly Misfortunes, and I'm going to start doing the edits on that one. But because I didn't want to tire myself out of Friendly Misfortunes. I went ahead and started outlining the rest of the series for my Affair series at the exact same time that I was dealing with Friendly Misfortunes, because I wanted that, but I didn't know how to focus on more than one book at a time. And because I was focusing on Friendly Misfortunes, I wasn't really writing them. I was just kind of outlining constantly over and over and over again, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's taken me a while to figure out how to be able to write multiple books and, you know, do it and go back and do it and go back. So that's just how that works out. Anyway, but yeah, it's easy for me. It works for me, and that's just how it is. And sorry, my husband just came in here. But anyway, so it's simple to me. It's easy to me, but it's taken me years. It's taken me years. My first book was published in 2012. My second book was published in 2014. The second book in the Affair series was published in 2019 because I had a day job, which I got kicked out of in 2017. But 2017 was right about the time when I just started focusing basically on writing all of my Affair series books. So there you go. But it wasn't just that. Like, I had so many ideas for other books and I just kept writing them all down. And I was like, I'm going to write all of these books. But then I just had this list and I was like, this is too much. But so far I've been able to come up with a schedule that works for me. 2024, I will probably go a little bit more in depth. Let me actually check. Yes. Okay, so 2024, I will actually go a little bit more in depth in exactly what I am doing and how it's working out for me. But that's because I just started, and technically I'm just writing new books. That's all I'm doing. I haven't really done anything but write new books. So that's it. But yeah. It's a simple and easy process that I got so far. I've got 13 more books that I'm going to write besides the 5 others. So at the next book that I'm going to be editing is Roadkill Cafe. So there's that. This is my edit stack. This is my beta reader edit stack. And this is my to be written stack. So, and these two are thicker than the purple one, but this one is also thicker than the blue one, and whatever. Anyway, but that's only because the green one has mutiny and disbanding. But anyway, yeah, I've got a lot more books that I got a lot going on here. I don't even want to know what exactly how many there are here. You know what? I know that this here is 12. Yep, that's 12. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 19 books that are going to be published starting in 2024 up to 2030. So I'm kind of excited. Hopefully it works. Hopefully the schedule works. I do have more books that I want to write that are also on that schedule, but because it is like 2027, 2028 is when I'll actually be writing those books, I'm not going to worry about them right now. So, but I do have like titles and a basic premise, not really an entire outline or plot line or anything like that. It's just like a basic premise. It's like maybe 3 or 4 sentences, where others, there's like a lot going on. But those are the newer ones that I'm actually writing. So anyway, that's it. Make sure you subscribe if you want to hear more from me. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, and that's it. I will see y'all on Monday. Okay, bye.